Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am not going to do my normal intro today because this is not a beauty video. This is not a video that I had ever planned on making on my channel, and it's not something that I plan on doing again. However, I did feel the need to say something. I talked about this very briefly in my last video when I was encouraging people to vote. I kind of felt like, or I had hoped, that that would be the extent that I would ever need to talk politics on my channel because that's not my skill set. I care a lot about social issues, but I'm not somebody who can speak easily about them. The reason I am making this video despite that is because, very simply, that's what I want to see from the creators that I follow. I want them to acknowledge this. I don't think every one of them needs to make a video. I don't expect that, but I do think it should be acknowledged. And I feel like a lot of people are going to want to fall back on the fact that YouTube is an escape. It's a place to escape. And while I absolutely agree with that, I use it as an escape myself. The dynamic is different on YouTube than it is with something like a TV show. On YouTube, people show up as themselves. And, that looks different for everyone based on the creator. Some people share more about their lives than others, but regardless, it's a different style of interaction. And because of that, I don't really want to see videos that are just about makeup right now. Not this week. I don't have the bandwidth for it. I tried. I watch YouTube every day when I'm getting ready. And this morning I tried to put on some frivolous review while I was putting my makeup on, and I couldn't pay attention to it. My brain literally just could not get engaged. I can't watch the news either. That's not the alternative for me, but watching somebody talk about lipstick, trying to talk about that kind of stuff myself, I just personally, I can't do that right now. That's not the content that I'm looking for. The content that I'm looking for, and the only thing that gives me solace right now, is solidarity, is people coming out and saying, this is not okay. What just happened? The United States of America choosing hate and division and exploitation en masse. I mean, it's not like this was even that close. That's not okay. And it's never going to be okay. And like Kamala Harris herself said, I concede this election, but I don't concede this fight. And that's what I'm here to say. I don't have any solutions, and I don't want to hear that from other people. I think it's oversimplifying what's really going on here, and that's not helpful. I've personally had a lot of people in my life come to me and say, it's gonna be okay, we're gonna get through this, it's gonna swing the other way in 4 years, and all of that. And while I appreciate their intentions, I can't pretend that that's not going to be the case for everyone. Not everyone is going to make it to the future in which we get to vote again in 4 years. There are people that are going to die because of this. Women in this country are going to die because of this, and a lot of people in other countries are going to die because of this. Will I personally make it to the next election? Chances are good. Despite the fact that I am a woman living in Florida, I have the means to leave if I had to. So yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones. I will probably get to vote again, but I can't pretend that this isn't the end of the line for some people. I won't ever say that's okay. I believe in democracy, and yes, this is what the majority of people voted for. That doesn't make it right. Women, minorities, the education system, the environment, immigrants, all the people living in Ukraine, Palestine, anyone needing health care. There are so many people and institutions that are going to be damaged. All I can personally do is focus on the fact that I'm not alone, that there are a lot of people that are upset about everything I just mentioned and more, and we are not powerless. We can do something, and doing something might look different for everyone. I have an anxiety disorder. I'm never going to be a public speaker, so that's out. But there are countless other ways that I can be of service to people who need help right now and 1, 2, and 3 years from now, because we don't even know the extent of this and what people are going to need, but we can make the resolve to show up for them. In 2019, I joined a local progressive group that was sort of mostly focused on elections, and that really helped me get informed about the more local stuff because it all starts there. They did the national stuff too, but they covered the local stuff, which that's never going to be in the news, so that was extremely helpful for me. I think this time around, what I'm personally going to do is I'm going to pick one or two issues, find groups that help those issues, and volunteer. I can donate, and I've done a lot of that, but I still believe time is the most valuable resource that we have. So I'm going to try to get involved in a more real way. And I'm hoping that by doing that, I will surround myself by people who share my values. And I can find comfort in the fact that we're not just giving up. We are not just collectively curling up into the fetal position and saying it's over. And I mean, frankly, there are huge, scary things like national security. Like, that's terrifying. The economy being even more of a mess. That's debilitating. Like, there are so many reasons why I'm definitely expecting to have days where I want to throw my hands up because I'm a human being and I have to force myself to strike a balance, to not get so caught up that I become useless. Because I know from experience, when I get too emotional about things, I'm not helping anybody. You can't pour from an empty cup. And I know that, frankly, as humans, we did not evolve to be able to handle this much information this quickly. Like, being able to absorb the atrocities that we each have to deal with. I mean, everybody has tragedies just within their own family that they have to cope with, let alone things that are happening on the other side of the world. Like, it's a lot. And it's too much for any person to take in. But the solution to that is not to just stick your head in the sand. Like, I couldn't live with myself operating that way, but I know that I'm very sensitive and I need to pay attention. I need to pay attention to how I'm feeling, and what I can handle can change. Like, it can change day to day. And I just need to learn to be honest with myself and do my best. I won't survive if I lose hope. So I have to keep that alive by believing that there is still something worth fighting for in this country, that this is not permanent, that the ideals of my youth can come true if we don't give up. So I am absolutely just here to tell people that they're not alone. I don't have answers. I don't have anecdotes. I don't have a crystal ball. So I don't know what any of that's going to look like, but I know that I'm going to keep showing up. And I know that there's a lot of other people out there that feel the way I feel. The internet can be such a toxic and negative place. I've really stopped engaging in a lot of social platforms, especially my personal social platforms. I rarely even check even my own Instagram at this point. I stick to beauty because it's just simpler. But I am extremely grateful that for the most part, beauty has proven itself to be a safe and compassionate place. With millions of creators, I know there's a limit to that, but at least everybody that I follow, I feel like they try to provide safe places for everyone in their comment section and beyond. And I know sort of what inspired me to make this video was Hannah Louise Poston, who has almost 200,000 subscribers, had the guts to stop everything and make a video about this on November 6th, fully knowing that she was going to get pushback. Obviously, most of the people who are truly engaged with her, they're on the same page, but with that many subscribers, there's tons of people that aren't, and they're not quiet about it. I mean, internet trolls are going to troll. I'm sure she had to delete a lot of terrible stuff. And I'm sure she had to read it. She had to read it first. That is toxic and draining. I mean, anybody on YouTube can tell you that hate comments are draining. It doesn't matter how dumb they are. It's still very unhealthy. So she put that video out there despite knowing that. She's the first creator that I've seen address this at all. And obviously, I mean, she's eloquent and put together, so her video is going to help a ton more people than, frankly, a lot of other beauty YouTubers who, like me, don't have a skill set in this. But that was really encouraging, and it was the first video I could watch on YouTube because, yeah, I wanted to commiserate. I wasn't looking for answers. I just wanted to feel less alone. So I found that really helpful. And I know, like, some other people have spoken on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever platform, and it has been helpful. Like Charlotte Palomino talked about the Gutenberg era when the printing press was invented and disinformation was at an all-time high. For something like 200 years, things got really bad, and that's kind of where we are with the internet. The disinformation is a plague, and it's deeply infected this country, but they got through it then. Reality still won out at the end of that. So there is reason to hope that that can happen again here. Connor Cleary, who I believe he's originally a TikTok creator, but I follow him on Instagram because I'm a millennial, but he posted a video that was not comforting, but it was enlightening, and he brought up the fact that there are people in this country, there are voters who just want to see it all burn down. They just want to dismantle the government, and that's what they're hoping for. And what struck me about that is that I somehow found comfort in thinking that there were people that were so miserable they just wanted to see everything burn to the ground rather than they're just misogynistic or racist or whatever it is. They hate everyone equally. So like somehow that made me feel better, you know? I'm not saying it all has to be positive stuff, but it's all stuff that makes me feel saner. Like the way I'm feeling right now is valid, and we're not overreacting. It actually is that terrible. It doesn't have to end that way, but it's for real, and we don't have to sugarcoat it. Like, I don't have to pretend everything's fine when it's not. Like, I'm probably gonna feel a little bit sick for the next 5 years, but I'm just gonna have to put one foot in front of the other while feeling sick. I mean, women have been doing that since the beginning of time. So it's that or give up. And I'm not at the point where that's an option. So I need to do what I can and check out when I can't. And I'm definitely relying on things like The Daily Show for my news right now. I can't handle CNN. That's too real. I can't hear the conjectures or the plans right now because it's not helpful. Another thing that's really not helpful that I wanted to speak about because I saw a little bit of this go on Instagram is blaming people. Like, there is so many analysis of what happened and why and who's to blame, and none of it's relevant. None of it matters. Like, I will admit, myself personally, when this first happened, there were groups of people that I thought took votes away from Kamala Harris by discouraging voting at all. And I was angry until I realized that it wasn't just one thing. This wasn't just one failure. This wasn't just one split of opinion, and being mad about it helps absolutely no one. The only thing useful to come out of any of that is studying how to reach people in the future and analyze who felt left out and why, and use that for good in the future. But I've seen liberal friends of mine get attacked, and in my opinion anyway, that's just making the problem worse. Like, it's just not going to change anything that happened, and the only thing we have is the future. I'm jumping back in here to mention that, I didn't talk about this stuff specifically, but I'm definitely going to add a few resources in the description box as sort of a start. I will provide more on Instagram as I come across them. But just a couple things to start with. The Trevor Project is personally one of my favorite places to donate, and I know sometimes when you feel like you can't do anything else, even just making a donation can help. So I'll be sure to include that as well. And I really just wanted to take a moment and, talk to my trans and non-binary friends and say, like, among all of the groups affected by this, my heart breaks for what they're feeling right now. And I didn't address it specifically because, frankly, I don't even know what to say. But I needed to acknowledge it because between that and the rise of hate groups in general, it's really important not to let anyone feel left behind. So, I don't know how useful any of this was, but my channel will always be a safe place for minorities and people who want to stand up against bigotry and hate. I don't know where my career on YouTube is going. I don't know how successful I'm ever going to be at this, but regardless of wherever I am in the world, that is always what I'm going to stand for, and I can't separate it from anything else that I'm doing. It is intrinsically who I I am. So even though my next video is going to be a Sephora haul, and actually that video I filmed before the election even happened, so the tone of that is going to be very different. I would not be able to carry on if I didn't address a huge human rights violation that was just committed by this country and talk about the fact that I'm not okay right now. I'm trying to find ways to make life okay, but I think it's going to be a tough 4 years, and I think acknowledging it is the only way that I can move forward. So that's what I'm doing here today, and I hope that you're taking care of yourself wherever you are. Don't hesitate to reach out for help. When we ask for help, we help other people. I think that's something that gets forgotten about. I know in my own life, when people have come to me and asked for help, most of the time, I think me helping them helps me more than it could ever help them. So reach out. You never have to be alone. There are still so many people in this country who care and who want to fight for a better world. If we stand together, we can do that. That's all I have to say for this video. I hope you're having as good of a day as you can. I love you so much. I'll see you in the next one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.